And I believe we are live. Welcome everyone to King Talks, the platform where we share marketing ideas worth spreading. If you can hear us clearly, please let me know down in the comments just to make sure. And yeah, so whether you're joining us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, please make sure that you leave a big thumbs up. And hey, please feel free to share your comments or ask any questions because we would love to engage with you. So our first guest on King Talks is Jessica Burnett. Jessica is the digital marketing manager at Asus South Africa. She has a BCom degree in marketing, a diploma in strategy, an NQF in business, and she has successfully completed advanced courses on Google, Facebook, as well as application programming or API. Jessica is also very proficient in Google Ads as well as Data Studio Analytics, Facebook ads and analytics, as well as retargeting customers using artificial intelligence. But we've specifically invited her over today because Jessica is a major advocate for search engine optimization or SEO. So Jess, without any further ado, please take over.
Well, I think this is a topic that everybody is hopping on board nowadays because I think after topics that we don't want to talk about, COVID has taken over. SEO has become a big trend nowadays. So I've prepared a little bit of a slide and a presentation because I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I'm going to share my screen with you, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Give me a second. And then just let me know, can you see my screen?
From my side, nothing at the moment. Let me just double check through socials.
Just let me know when you can see it.
Let's see.
Should be seeing a big yellow SEO trend screen.
Okay, nothing so far. It's not showing up on social either.
Okay, let me go out. Okay, let me try again. Are we seeing it now?
Still nothing.
Okay.
These things happen. There's all the features when it comes to doing lives, when it comes to digital technology as a whole. So it's all good.
I'm not sure how that's, let's see.
Yeah, people are saying nothing yet.
I'm actually not too sure how and why it's not.
I'm thinking the next best thing is to go through it without the presentation, if that is possible.
No, that is possible. Okay, so the first topic I wanted to talk about is what is SEO and why it is important. Okay, so is SEO still a good investment in 2021? Because this is a topic we've been talking about over and over again. So the short answer is yes, SEO is more important than ever. It's still one of the most potent digital marketing strategies that drive long-term results. So let's take a look at why in SEO and how to drive and better understand and how to get the most out of your efforts. So there's a few trends that I'm going to go through today and how to establish them in your goals and how to take them through onto your websites to get the best out of it. So the first trend that I'm going to take you through is to optimize for search intent. Now, this is one of the most important things that I would like to drive because a lot of people don't really understand it. You need to make sure that when you are doing SEO, you optimize for while the end user is actually searching on the website and understanding what your website is there for. So is your website informational? Is your website transactional? Is your website navigational? Or is your website commercial? So at any one of those. So is it providing information? Is it there to give someone information? Are they searching for the information? Is it transactional? Is it an e-commerce site? Is it navigational? Are people searching for it? And then are they going to go and look for, say, Facebook? Is it commercial? So when they're searching for it, are they doing a bit of research? So are they going to shop around for your SEO? Are you doing that type of a search intent when you're optimizing your keywords? So that's one of the things that I'd like to do. Then the next one is optimize for mobile. So what we need to understand is if you haven't looked at your GA, other words, Google Analytics, it's time to take a deep dive. We are living in a mobile-first world, so people are now using their mobile to consume data. So ensuring that your website is optimized for mobile should be top of mind. So if we had a look at on my spreadsheet that I'll share with you guys afterwards if you want to download it, there is a desktop versus mobile versus tablet share from the stat counter. And if you have a look at that, and I'm sure if you have a look at your Google Analytics, if you are working on your website, your mobile user versus your online users will be a lot higher. And also from your core web vitals from Google and the algorithm that they've changed, as of May 2021, which is right now, the new page experience signals combine core web vitals with existing search signals, including mobile friendliness, safe browsing, HTTPS security, and intrusive guidelines. So all of that is optimized for mobile. So if your website is not optimized for mobile, it will not be SEO. So SEO, search engine optimization. So if it's not mobile, not SEO. And then the next one is the core web vitals and page experience optimization. So based on a source from Digital Intelligence Briefing, 74% of visitors are likely to come back to your site if it has good mobile user experience. With Google introducing the core web vitals as a ranking factor, page experience metrics can no longer be ignored. Your page cannot just look pretty and rank high in Google. So if you have a few H1 headers and a few keywords like we used to rank in Google previously, that doesn't work nowadays. So we need to make sure that we look at page experience optimization. So ensuring that when your user goes onto your page, when they're clicking on a link, when they're going and they're having a look at pressing a button, it doesn't hop around and bounce around everywhere. So that's what Google is looking at nowadays. It's not looking at, oh, you used a pretty picture and, oh, great, that's really great text and, oh, your Comic Sans font is fabulous. It's really not looking at that anymore. It's looking at how user-friendly your page is. And customer retention should be top of mind when creating your SEO strategy. So the next one that I'd like to chat about is keyword is essential. So keyword research is really, really essential right now. And there's a few platforms that I'm going to take you through at the end of this chat, and what we should do and how we can do this and how we do keyword research and how we can implement it in our SEO strategy. So first thing is keyword difficulty. So when you do keyword research, you can't just search a whole lot of keywords and say, oh, I'm going to pick this keyword because it's ranking high. When you're going onto a new website and a new platform, it is imperative that you have a look at the keyword difficulty. If I'm a new website and I'm ranking against a website that's been in the game for years and their keyword is a keyword difficulty of 80, and I come into the game and I want to rank for that same keyword difficulty, because I don't have a high authority, say, for example, as the better company and the better website, I cannot compete with that keyword difficulty. So when you do your research and you are on your website, try and opt for the keywords that have the lower keyword difficulty and see where there are missing keywords, or put your competitors against each other. And you can actually use tools such as SEMrush and have a look at the missing opportunities where websites and competitors aren't ranking for those keywords. Then another one is cannibalization, which I've seen in so many websites nowadays. So they will take one keyword and they will use it on every single page, thinking that, oh, if Google sees this keyword on all of my pages, I'm going to rank higher and higher and higher. And that's just not the way that it works. So what happens is when Google's little bots see this word on your page, they see it on every single page, and the bots get so confused with what's happening that they cannot understand what your website's about correctly. So cannibalization is something that you need to be cognizant of and understand that because you're using a keyword on every single page all the time, it doesn't mean that you're going to rank higher. You need to make sure that each and every single page has different keywords and that they differentiate each other. And then title it, which is your H. So H1 headers, H2, 3, and 4 headers. So tell us what your site is about. Make sure all your pages have a header and make it clear. You can also strategically add some synonyms in the H2 content. Google them, create them. Get a copywriter if you're unsure how to do it. This is a big strategy that you need to invest in. Copywriting is something that you can't just come up with a whole lot of words and put them together, because Google takes this, they crawl through your website, and if your content is rubbish, it's going to put it in the rubbish pile. It's as simple as that. The next one is 5, on and off. So a lot of people think that your website can only be ranked for SEO on page, but you get on-page SEO and you get off-page SEO, which is quite cool, because if you rank on your page, you can also rank off your page. So on-page SEO can be content marketing, keyword optimization, images, page speed. So on-page SEO involves optimizing your content, meta tags, other elements on your page, on your site pages. So that's anything that happens on your website. However, you can then take SEO a little bit further, and you can go on some other pages and you can optimize off your pages. So off-page SEO involves any activities that drive awareness and referral traffic to your site from other sites. So this is where you can leverage off third parties to drive traffic through to your site. So this is where link building comes in, guest blogging, and social media. So a lot of traffic and authoritative websites can drive traffic through to you. So when you put companies on tools such as SEMrush, you can have a look at their authority. When they've got an authoritative website that has a backlink going through to your website, Google will then crawl that website and say, okay, this link goes through to your website. and then it will rank your website higher. This is what we call link building and backlinks. These backlinks go to your website, and Google then ranks your website. Same way you can drive traffic through to their website, they can drive traffic through to your website. This link building is a step that's always missed in SEO. When you're doing blogs, when you're having products, if you're on e-commerce sites and you've got brands that you've got on your website, you can do a simple check out this brand, and you can have a backlink going to the brand page. Most of the times those brands are authoritative pages already, so having that little link going to the brand page to tell them what the brand's about, that will give you a higher ranking in the SEO, for example. Okay, and then a few little bonus features that we've got for you to optimize. There's some takeaways and key points. Another one, voice search is becoming very big. I don't think it's kept in that much here in South Africa, but it is going to be there. So now if you start getting into it, when we get there, you'll have already optimized your website for it. So save yourself the time now. Put things like your alt text in your images. Give yourself a description. When you upload a picture on social media, there is alt text, there's descriptions in the pictures that you can add. Tell Facebook what it's about. Tell your website what the picture is about. Do small things like that so that when people are doing voice search, Google can then translate that and bring up the images, the text. When you upload a YouTube video, you can actually tell YouTube to translate it and to add text to the videos. And YouTube does these sort of things that we're missing out, these key features. Then you get something called video SEO, which people aren't tapping into. So you can actually optimize your YouTube videos on SEO. So just like with normal search engine optimizations, when it comes to video SEO, keywords are key. So the easiest way to find keywords for videos is to use YouTube's autocomplete feature. So that's another way we can do it. And then intent is redefining the marketing funnel. We always knew that awareness, then you get your funnel that goes down this way. Intent is now redefining that. So scratch the way you always thought about your funnel and have a look at how Google now thinks. And I promise you these tips and tricks, and Google gives a whole new strategy on this. It's absolutely amazing at the way that we always were taught in marketing on how people buy and how they actually buy. And then a few tools I think you would need to try is SEMrush, vidIQ, and Screaming Frog. These three tools are your musts if you're tapping into the SEO. So SEMrush, keyword research, competitive analysis. vidIQ is basically your YouTube SEO guru. And then Screaming Frog, if you put anything into there, it will tell you where you're missing your H1 headers. It will tell you any Google pages that Google is unable to crawl. It has so many capabilities. Those three tools have helped me so much with websites. So I think if I have a look at everything together with the 9 minutes that I had, there's so much more we could take away with this, but those 5 tips and tricks are definitely the ones that Google has begged for us from now, May, that they're implementing with the core Web Vitals that we have to ensure that we are ranking in Google.
Awesome. That is absolutely amazing, Jessica. And I'm sure that the audience will appreciate all of those tips as well. I'm not seeing any questions pop up. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Sure. No problem.
Awesome. So the first question that I have is with regards to how long does it take for, SEO to actually be effective? So a lot of the times people steer away from SEO because they believe it's going to take too long, or it's not going to be effective immediately enough. So if people were to apply those 5 tips that you just shared, how long will it take for them to actually see the results?
So again, SEO is effective immediately, but you will not see the results immediately. So you start seeing results from, I always tell everybody that when I give them these tips and tricks, you start seeing results from the 3rd month onwards. And you can always start seeing that from the amount of organic traffic that your website will see. So when your organic traffic starts going up, that means your SEO is working, because more people are seeing the traffic increase. And it's proper traffic. It's not paid traffic, which is great for your website because it means that you're not paying for that traffic. It's real people coming to your website based on what you want them to see. So when that's increasing, it can take 3 months, it can take 6 months, it can take a year. But that obviously depends on how fast the person that is working on your website is operating, how quick the SEO is implemented, if your pages are optimized correctly. But I would say give it about 3 months before you see a result. If everything is done correctly, you should start seeing results from 3 months onwards. It is a steady incline, but once it starts happening, it does start happening and it booms. It is amazing. I think it's the best thing when you start seeing it going and people start coming to your website and you popping up everywhere and you don't know how. It's worth it.
Awesome. I've got one question here from an audience. So they're asking, Portia's asking, does SEO have the same concept as pay-per-click?
So search engine optimization is more organic. PPC is when you are paying for traffic. So they do link together in somewhat of a way, but you would, with pay-per-click, you would be researching keywords and then you would be pushing them up in Google. But SEO is where you're ranking on Google, then to drive Google to rank you higher. PPC is not going to push you up on Google. However, SEO will. This is where Google brought up their core web vitals to make sure that companies don't pay to rank higher on Google. So there were companies that would pay so much money and they would rank higher on Google. And then you get these great websites that would fall out of the funnel and they would be on the 5th or 6th page. Yeah. So PPC does give you an ad at the top, which is great. And you can pay per click, which is great. So you will appear on the SERP on the first page, but not organically. So it is, in a way, you are appearing on the first page, but you would appear as an ad. And if you have a look, a lot of the times people don't click on the ad at the top. I myself am one of those people. When I see that little ad on the top, I'm like, don't fool me. I'm clicking on the first actual results, not the 2 ads that pop up at the top. I will click on the first ad, and there's been studies and a few key features that people have seen that people don't want those ads at the top because they don't want to be forced to click on ads. They want to be forced on the first genuine result that pops up. So PC and SEO play some part in connecting each other on the SERP, but they are not the same. They are completely different.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that question, Portia. I don't see any other questions pop up. I've just got one final question from my side, and then we can wrap things up.
Okay.
Awesome. So I just want to know when it comes to social media. So you mentioned briefly that, you can link to social media and all that. Can you please explain that a lot more clearly for me, if possible? Because I feel like a lot of people are focusing a lot more on social media. So I think that it would be beneficial to touch on that again.
Okay, there's some great features within social media that the Creator Studio that you've got on Facebook have now tapped into within Google. I don't know if you've had a look when you search on Google Images, a lot of the times you see a little Facebook picture pop up there and you can see that it's a referral of Facebook. So that is SEO, essentially. It's good SEO techniques that have been implemented from Facebook. So what you can do is when you're uploading your pictures or when you are uploading your catalogs and images, there is a space on Facebook where you can add alt text, you can add descriptions, you can put text for people with hearing, a visual impairment. You can put other descriptions in there. You can optimize it. You can put tags on there. There's so many hidden features. When you upload a video on Facebook, you can actually put layers over with the text. You can have a little text side on the side of your video where it will give you exact text of what the person is saying. You can add different languages onto your video. So you can optimize for different countries on Facebook. You can put different languages on the search results and on your different alt texts. So if you wanted to rank for your different SERPs in different languages, you could then take your alt text and have that in 4 or 5 different languages. I mean, for South Africa, that would be phenomenal. If we could take our alt text and put 10, 20 different alt texts or put our different keywords in all our official languages, then when someone does search for that, we would then pop up. People are missing these small little things that we can do that doesn't take a lot of time, but by not doing them, we're missing out on that little gap in the market and where we could activate it and we're just not getting there. So I think we're lazy. We put a picture up and we're like, okay, the picture will do itself. It's okay. It will just happen. It's getting likes, it's getting follows. What else can we do?
Sorry to interrupt. With Facebook, does it only work if you post an ad through the Creator Studio, or can it be direct to the feed?
So when you post it direct to the feed, it doesn't give you the opportunity to go and add the alt texts and everything else. So the best place to do it would be through the Creator Studio because it gives you all those, those added features. But another way that you could sort of do it and get away with it is if you had to do it direct to your feed, if you had to save your image as what you would want it to rank for as a keyword, that's another little way that Google can then crawl your image because Google will then look at your image and see what it's saved as. So saving your images as the correct name as your keywords is also a great way for SEO. Because if I wanted to rank my image as best ROG gaming laptop, I would then save best ROG gaming laptop, make sure to use the hyphens because that's how Google reads everything. And then I would upload that picture onto my website or onto Facebook or however I wanted to do it. And then when Google reads that image, because Google does not see pictures, Google reads what the code is and what the text is. Google will then read it and it'll say, oh, this is what this image is about. Does it have an alt text? Okay, no alt text was put here. So I'll read what the image is about. And then it will rank it. However, if I uploaded WhatsApp image 001, Google's going to say, I don't know what this is. Put you aside with the rest of the WhatsApp images 001. So taking those little steps on naming your images correctly, making sure that they're good quality images, because when it's low pixels and it looks rubbish, Google's also going to say, rubbish pile, throw it away, chuck it this side. So it's small things that we're missing out, especially with Facebook, social media. Just take that little extra step to name your images, put an alt text, make sure that you're optimizing for people who cannot see, make sure that you're doing it in different languages, look who your target audience are, go onto your Google Analytics, see who you're talking to. Are the people that are searching in English? If they're not, what language are they searching in? Then optimize your website for that language. Are they in South Africa? No, they're not in South Africa. Okay, they're in America. Make sure that you are searching your keywords for the American audience then. So it's not just thinking about what you think is best, but going a little bit deeper into the audience and your audience insights and seeing what's best for them. And that's what Google is asking us to do. And I think now with this new, their core web vitals that have just been launched now, this is what they're forcing us to do. They're saying, sorry, this is now what you have to do.
No, and like just quickly, I see Marota's got one question, but I just want to touch on the fact that I totally get the whole social media thing. I remember a couple of years ago, I was big on Pinterest. So like I was just one of the images that I had there, the link to a blog, like when you search for it, I couldn't show up on Google, like just my website, but the Pinterest post showed up. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm so sorry, Jess. Just one more question from Marota. Is asking, what's the best SEO tool? He's been using Yoast SEO for a while now, but he's not sure if that's the best or if there's anything else out there.
I love Yoast. When you're doing it on the website itself, I would say Yoast is great. I think Yoast does plug in a lot with WordPress. However, I am big on SEMrush or SEMrush, however you say it. I call it SEMrush, but I use that for my keywords, my competitors. I look at my page authority, but I am big on SEMrush. Yoast I use as well, but there is no exact best tool. So I basically use a combination of those. So I use my Yoast, I use my SEMrush. I then also take the Google Search Console. I also make sure that I crawl my website pages. I think I had when I went through the last one, I took Screaming Frog as well as another one. To have a look at the different crawling. So it's a combination of a whole lot of them. vidIQ for video SEO, there's no good one. There's a lot of them that you have to use, unfortunately. I wish there was one. I have been researching and there's no one that does it all. So plug in with 10 or 20 of the different ones and run through all of them, because Google does one thing, then Yoast does another thing for websites. SEMrush does another thing for competitors analysis. Screaming Frog does amazing things if you want to crawl your different pages and see which pages that Google's battling to crawl or which pages Google can't crawl. When you see those pages Google can't crawl, then you'd have to go back onto your search console and then you'd have to map out those pages and make sure that you then linking those pages. So you have to use all these tools together. You can't just use one tool, unfortunately.
And is Google Search Console any good? Is it important?
It is important. You have to use it. You have to plug in your Google Analytics, your Search Console. You have to have them all, your Google developers. What I would suggest, if you are starting out on SEO, there is a Google Developers free course on Google that you go and you have a look at. You can go and you can start it. They do a full training on it. They've got beautiful courses. They give you a certification once you're done with it. They take you through on how to do it. They're amazing. They're actually really, really good. They will tell you all about the Search Console, how to plug it into your website, how to use it. That then will teach you all about the core web vitals, how Google crawls your site, how these bots look at your site, what they do, and it'll give you basically everything about Google and how Google looks at everything, which is all you need to know about SEO.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we have to wrap things up. We've been chatting for like 30 minutes already, and I do not want to take too much more of your time, Jess. I know that you're super busy and need to get back to work. You briefly mentioned something about a download, if I remember correctly.
Yes, so I've got the presentation that I wanted to share with you. Unfortunately, I was unable to. So what I'll do is I'll email it through to you and you can put it up wherever and you can send it on LinkedIn, however you want to, on your profile, and people can share it, download it, take it away, have a look at it, grab as much information as you can. I know it is overwhelming when you look at SEO, but once you start biting it off little piece by little piece, it really isn't that bad.
Awesome. I'll definitely share that with you guys on Facebook, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. Thank you again, Jess, once again. And hey, guys, if you agree with us, we believe that this is a marketing idea worth spreading. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.